Yeah. Okay, here we have it, another industrial user. And we're here to set up a industrial pretreatment and compliance monitoring of their waste stream. This is a laboratory facility, and it has many floors, and all the waste streams from the labs enter the two-stage pH neutralization system in the floor, as I think you can see under this grating. And so based on the pH monitoring going into these tanks, this is their neutralization chemicals. Let's see, we have over here, let's see, the sodium hydroxide and there's the dosing meters, and on this side we have the sulfuric acid, so it draws them as needed. And here's their pH recorder. You can see it's reading a 7.03, and you also want to check to make sure it's recording what the meter is saying. So, and here's the flow. You can there is some flow. It looks like it's sporadic. Okay. So this is a typical sampling. We use a 10-foot hose with a weighted strainer, and we're just going to put that in the effluent pipe. So this is a clean out that they installed. We put the tubing down to access the effluent stream. And what we'll be doing first is collecting, we'll be drawing up a sample to test for pH. And we're going to check that pH to what they're recording over here to make sure it's monitoring properly. This industry has an outside vendor come in and inspect and calibrate their instruments, and you can see up here they're due to come back in next Tuesday, and they'll come in and inspect this and replace any parts and clean it and calibrate it. So okay. Okay, so now as you remember to draw up the sample, you hit 3 and enter button, and the first flush we usually dump out, and now we're going to get another sample. Okay, and another trick when we're sampling these effluent pipes that have a trap, there could be settlement in the joint, so we wouldn't want to put our strainer all the way to the bottom. We'd want to lift it up a little from the bottom to get the effluent clear liquid. Okay, now we're checking the pH. And yeah. All right. Okay, so 6.73, and we're reading a 7.04, so that's not too bad, especially since we know on Tuesday it's going to be looked at and calibrated. Okay. So when you're in the field, it's important to make sure you kind of stay organized and put all your stuff away. So now we record the reading that we got, and also the reading that was from the industry's instrument, and the time of that sample, and date, and location will be filled in as well. So, yep. Okay, and now we're ready to start the sampler. To take our 24-hour composite, we generally grab a sample every 20 minutes, and so that should give us 72 samples in a 24-hour period. So Patty's going through the program and checking to make sure everything is set up according to plan. And hitting the go button because we'll start immediately. And then we record the totalizer. So once we start the sampler, we write the totalizer number down, and when we return 24 hours later, we'll also write that number down, and the difference will be the flow within that sampling event. We record all of this on the field sampling data form. We record also the number of the sample we used, how the sample was being taken every 20 minutes. So we need all this sample information. It tells the whole story of how the sample was collected. And the last step will be to secure our sampler. We want to make sure it's not tampered with or it's not removed from the area. So we're going to put the lid on. The lid with the metal handle. We're able to put a metal cable through that and attach a lock. At the same time, we're going to lock it to this metal grating on the bottom to make sure it doesn't leave the area. So, and the reason why we do this is we have to have a sample that's defendable in court, because it could potentially be holding a violation. And also when this sample comes back to the upper Blackstone, we keep it in a locked cabinet with its chain of custody. So here's the lock, through the grating, and through the metal cap on the lid. So this prevents this from being opened, so nobody can tamper with electronics. And if you can't open the strap, that means you can't access the bottom composite sample being collected. So now the last step is Patty's going to secure the tubing with with a tie wrap to make sure it doesn't come out of the sample location. Okay, so now we're all set here, and we'll return tomorrow and check on that sample, and that's a field sampling event.